So what's this video all about? Well, I hope you've watched some of my previous videos on the Alto Busker. It's fairly new. Just got it a couple of months ago at $350. I'm really enjoying it. I think I've put out the most videos online about it. So I should be getting some kickbacks from Alto, but I'm not. Anyway, so the previous video I made was pairing the Alto Busker up with the PreSonus 8 little sub that you see on the far left. And I said it was a great bedroom system or a desktop system, but it was definitely not something you would fill a living room space with. Maybe a den, definitely a den, but nothing for live play, in my opinion. You know, someone asked me how would it be in a restaurant? I said, I'm not quite sure. I don't know if it would fill a restaurant space. But if you're a keyboardist and you just want to fill in the low end or play some tracks in a small space, it's great at $200. But if you want the next step, that's what this video is about, the next step. Well, the KRK is, I don't know, triple or 4 times the power of the little PreSonus. And of course, if you want to spend more, and I haven't even tested it yet, that will be a future video, you can go up to a real PA sub, which has the pole mount that the KRK is missing. And then you're going to be spending $900 for the Bose Sub 1 you see on the far right. Or if you want to save a little money, you can get the $800 EV 200 ELX subwoofer. But what can I say? Those are quite a bit more money when you jump up from $480 to $800 or $900. Now you're kind of spending quite a bit more than your top, even though the top, I'm sure it can keep up with that Sub 1 or the EV sub, because the Alto stays clean in high volume and it's really nice tone. It's when you play it by itself, it's missing some low end. That's the weakness of that speaker. But if you add a sub, I hope I'm proving it with these videos, or at least this first video, second video dealing with a sub, it really transforms that top into a full range sound. I like it better than the Bose S1 Pro. It's cleaner, it's louder than the S1 Pro. So that's what this video is all about. We're gonna do a sound demo and we're gonna see how the Busker integrates with a step-up sub from the PreSonus. Let me beat you to it. I know someone is going to ask, well, how about 2 of the PreSonus instead of the KRK? Well, I would still take the KRK. That 10-inch woofer and the more powerful amp just boots the performance up to a next level. You know, they say dual subwoofers is great for even sounding bass, but I don't have 2 PreSonus, so I can't tell you exactly. But if I had to pay with my money, I would buy 1 KRK. Now, the weight difference and the size is a big factor with the PreSonus. Super light, and when you go up to the KRK, we're pushing 35 pounds, and the larger Bose Sub 1 is only 36 pounds. You would think it would be much heavier, but it isn't. And of course, the Bose Sub 1 has your handles and a pole mount missing from the KRK. But the KRK has that nice foot switch ability that studio subs have. I'll show you that later. For a super micro system, I guess you can delete the pole, the speaker stand, but you do lose a certain amount of quality when you don't have tweeter at ear level. But for something like a bedroom or again, a small den, probably a speaker stand would be out of place anyhow. The speaker is able to be put in the tilt back position, which is nice. And that's what it's right now, in the tilt back. Setup couldn't have been any easier. 1 cable and 1 power cord. So you're going from the through out, XLR out on the Alto into the input of the KRK. And that's it. On the KRK, I'm running at 80 HZ. It goes up to 90. Actually, I'm sorry. I'm playing it at 90. That matches better with the small top. And I'm playing the KRK about 3 o'clock. And again, it has nice click adjustments. And each click adjustment, there is a noticeable difference. So I have quite a few click adjustments more on the top end of the sub when you hear the sound demo, so there's plenty of more room. I'm also demonstrating playing the subwoofer from the EcoFlow Pro. If you watched previous videos, I always mention this external battery that runs much even larger subs. It runs my Bose Sub 2 with no issue. So this is a great investment if you want to go all mobile. Of course, the top is already battery powered. So if you buy one external battery, you're good to go. People ask me how long does it last. I've never done max timed tests on my speakers because these things will last for hours. I'm not DJing, so I'm not sure of long time tests, but I always say between 4 and 6 hours, probably more like 6. This is a very powerful battery, 600 watts. It will last a long time. But one thing you have to know about external batteries, the louder you play, and if you play a lot of heavy bass content, like the song I'm about to demonstrate, that will also eat into battery time. So it really depends on the volume and the type of music you play. If you're playing acoustic music, vocals, it'll last all day and night. This is the sub we're talking about, KRK 10S. They make an 8-inch. I heard, of course, it's good, a little lighter, but I heard for a couple of $100 more, you get quite a bit more performance. I never even heard the 8. I just went for the 10. They also make a 12. I heard it's too big and large. It's not really good, unless you need that kind of power and size. But anyway, $480. The subwoofer you see that I'm demonstrating is no longer available. It was the model right before this. So in some ways, I like that my model better because they've taken away the metal screen protecting the woofer. But since this is a studio sub, I guess they feel they don't need it. Again, you have to realize there's no handles on this sub, so that's a downside from a studio sub. Let's talk about specs. Read the reviews. People are just amazed of the power of this pretty small sub. And again, studio subs usually aren't this powerful. So we have a 10-inch driver. It goes down to 27 hertz, 27 to 30 range, where your normal live PA sub goes down to only 40. So this goes down lower, especially if you're playing tracks like I am. I also always people ask me, what can I just use my eVerse 8 or Bose S1 Pro for hip hop or techno? And I say, unfortunately, no. You need a subwoofer. You can't go down to those frequencies. You're missing a lot if you just play with an 8-inch top. Okay, so this sub is pretty loud. Look at that spec, 117 dB. Where the top, the Alto, goes up to 106. So this is really powerful sub. 35 pounds, so it's not light. And the fact that it doesn't have a handle, it's kind of like a big bowling ball. It's hard to carry. So I wouldn't really consider carrying this around too much for live gigging. But something like in the home or a music studio, I'll say it again, I think it's a great pairing with the Alto Busker. Okay, we're ready for the sound demo. I'm going to be engaging the subwoofer and then using the foot switch that you have to buy extra. I'll be disengaging the subwoofer back and forth, so hopefully you can hear a difference. That's one thing I've noticed on YouTube videos I've made. The bass doesn't really come across. I don't know if it's not the microphone I'm using or just bass frequencies, but what I hear in the home and what I hear playback on YouTube is really night and day. Unfortunately, night and day in a bad way. But you can hear the difference, hopefully. So here we go. Let me show you the foot switch I'm talking about. So one of the advantages of a studio subwoofer is it comes with this, I think they call it a throughout, where you can engage the subwoofer and disengage it. Again, this is for studio use. The guys that are mixing, they want to hear how the mix is with the bass, with the sub, and then without. But I'm using it just for playing tracks, and it's really nice to dial in the sub this way. It's a Fender foot switch. I believe it's only like $20 on Amazon. It has a nice long cable. So here we go.
You stole my heart of gold after my silver soul. Can you dig any deeper now? I gave you all
Quite the difference. I hope you've heard that. This was being played at about between 90 to 95 dB max. It's kind of loud, but I don't usually play that loud, but I hope you've noticed the clarity on that top end. The Alto stayed perfectly clean. There was no clipping, no distortion at that volume, and it could have gone higher. Definitely could have gone higher. And again, no clipping or red light on the sub. Excellent performance, and I would say this is an excellent matchup. Let's add up the price, see what we get. So we got the Alto Busker on top at $350. We got the KRK 10 at $480. You need a speaker pole because the KRK does not have a socket where you can mount a speaker on it. That's the downside, but that's why it's a studio sub, not a regular PA sub. $40 for a speaker stand, I'm estimating, and then $20 for one XLR cable between the top and the sub. So total $890. So what can you get for that kind of price? Well, the next thing I would think with this kind of performance, in some ways better performance, some ways less. Let's talk about it. It's the Bose Pro 8 at $1,300. Also the JBL Mark II at $1,300. And then you go up to EV30 for $1,400. So I say those speakers will be louder, those columns. For example, the Bose Pro 8 can go up to 118 dB. This Alto Busker goes up to 106. So 12 dB is more than double, maybe triple the power as far as max volume. But the subwoofer here will outperform something like a Bose Pro 8 or a Mark II. This is a real standalone sub, and I hope you heard it, but it's different kind of performance. Okay, summing this up. For that price, you have to realize this is a modular system, so you can take just the top for busking, or you can pair it with the sub if you're playing in a larger area or you need full range sound. So I see a lot of flexibility in this. In some ways, the flexibility is greater than a column array. But again, it always comes down to the user, what you need, and the money that's needed to buy it. But to me, this is a really good pair up. The top goes to 106. The sub goes to 117 dB. So the sub has plenty of power compared to the top, but I don't see the sub overpowering the top. Okay, this is Bill. Hope you enjoyed.